Good morning. Happy New Year. Today is day one of our new group. It's called Hit It Hard on purpose because that's what we're going to do. New Year's resolutions, I think, kind of suck because no one sticks with them. No one really thinks it all the way through. And most people just fall off the bandwagon really fast. So this group is going to counteract all of those things. It's designed to be 3 months long, so it'll take up the whole first quarter, January, the beginning of January through the end of March. And it'll be exactly what everyone needs to be able to begin new habits, learn to stick with them, and then be able to take those new habits and expand and continue. So that it becomes a permanent fixture in your life. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about 5 or 6 different things at once because my kids are about to wake up. So I need to step back and apologize because, like Tiffany Keith said yesterday, I totally crashed and burned between Christmas and today. I have been just only doing the most essential tasks each day and trying to get as much sleep and rest as possible because I've been so sick. Today's the first day I'm actually feeling kind of okay, and I was able to get up before 6 a.m. My normal routine is to get up way early and to exercise and I have this whole morning routine filled with mindfulness practices and things like that. That just went totally in the trash this past week, and I'm trying to recover from it. So I'm sorry that our group isn't pretty and doesn't have all the files and information and things like that in it yet. But I'll be playing catch up the next few days, and it will get up to par pretty soon. So let me back up just a little bit. My name is Amber. I'm going to be one of the 2 coaches in this group. Hopefully you all know me fairly well by now, but just in case for anybody new, you're welcome to come down. My husband has the day off, so he's sneaking past me and he hates my videos. So my name is Amber. I live out by the Grand Canyon in Arizona. I have 4 kids, and my husband is a dentist. He works on the Indian Reservation about an hour and a half away from our house. And my kids are, they're 8, 6, 4, and 2. They're almost all their half birthdays now. So the 2-year-old is really starting to act like she's 3 instead of 2. So we're getting into that fun phase where, she's acting like a 3-nager and refusing everything and all that kind of fun stuff. So my life is just busy. Oh, I'm also the primary president in our ward, which means that I'm in charge of 120 kids and all their activities and things like that. I'm the top leader underneath the bishopric. So anyway, I oversee all kinds of stuff like that. And it's a little bit time consuming and very emotionally taxing. So I'm busy all the time. But that's why I love doing Beachbody stuff, because it's able to fit in my life, and I'm able to orient I'm able to orient my life in a way that I don't have to give up my own personal goals, even though I'm busy. I can get up early and exercise, or I can exercise with my kids, which is what's going to happen in about 10 minutes when they start coming downstairs. I'll just turn it on my TV right here, and I will exercise anyway, and they'll jump on top of me, or sit on the couch behind me, or they'll ooh and ah at my abilities to, focus while they're talking to me. And I'll get it in anyway. I don't have to have a babysitter for it. I don't have to wait for them when they're asleep. I don't have to go to the gym and take them to the kids center, which, by the way, was a disaster the last year or so when I tried to do that, because my baby just wouldn't go. It was like a waste of several hours a day because she just would not let me walk away from her with the childcare thing. Anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. So this group, like I said, is all about fighting that trend to not follow through with New Year's resolutions. So we're not even going to say the word New Year's resolutions anymore. We're going to talk about goals. And I'm going to harken back to one of my favorite mentors. His name is Darren Hardy. He is a what does he call himself? A high achiever mentor, something along those lines. Anyway, he's like the editor of Success Magazine and has had many successful personal enterprises and things like that too. But he talks about how there are 3 phases to success, and in a year it's best, instead of setting one goal for the year like a New Year's resolution, to break the year up into manageable chunks, or quarters is naturally what he recommends. And then within those quarters you break it up even more, and there are 3 phases that go into really finding success in those larger quarterly goals. And in those 3 phases, it's usually like a growth kind of phase where you're working really hard to figure out how to do something. And then there's a push phase where you're really working to actually implement the things you've learned. And then there's like a coasting or a sailing kind of phase where you've learned, you've implemented, and now you're kind of reaping the benefits, but you have to still work for it. I also learned through Hal Elrod, who wrote The Miracle Morning, that a similar thing is needed when you're setting a goal to start a new habit. So the first, he says it takes 30 days to start it, to create a new habit. The first 10 days is, oh, here comes a kid. Slithering past me. You're fine. The first 10 days he calls unbearable because you're trying to grow, you're trying to learn, you're trying to push even though it kind of stinks. The second 10 days he calls uncomfortable because it's not as bad as being unbearable, but it's still not fun. And then the third 10 days you become unstoppable because you've already pushed all this momentum forward, and it's just going to carry you from there. And then magically, seemingly, you'll have a new habit, or we'll have removed an old one. Well, we're going off of that principle, and that's why this is a full quarter-long group and not a month-long group. So our focuses in those 3 months, we're going to break it into 3 different focuses. The first month, all of January, is just going to be how to get started. All the really foundational, basic principles of health and nutrition. And it'll be a really good review for everyone who's returning, and it'll be a really good start and foundation for anybody who's new. Even if you've had success in the past, it's always good to review. I review these kind of things like every single month because it helps to keep me motivated and push me forward so I don't just slack off and stop doing what I know makes me successful. The second month in February will be how to stick with these new habits when things get really hard. So when family starts to criticize you, when work gets overwhelming, when life is just hard, and when you're sick, all these different things will throw you off your game. When you've worked so hard to achieve this new goal for the first month, or this new habit for the first month, how to continue through that even though things are going to be hard. Sorry about that. And then the third month in March, it'll be about continuing with these new habits, but expanding them all to have success in different areas of your life, not just in health and fitness, because health and fitness is like a gateway thing. We use it as the stepping stone onto the path where you can have success in any area of your life. All these principles we're going to learn, you can apply to any aspect of your life that you want to improve. So that's what the third month is all about. But for today, I'm going to give you some action steps. The first thing is to introduce yourself. Feel free to just leave a picture and a little brief description of who you are and what you love and that kind of thing, or do a video. I love the videos because I like to see you guys actually in action, moving around, see your mannerisms and stuff. I prefer that. But whatever you're more comfortable with, I know some people hate being on camera. The second thing I want you to do, and this might be the hardest action step of all, is to take before pictures. So starting pictures today, right now. Take off your clothes, but not all of them. Don't do this naked. Put on a sports bra and a pair of like running shorts or panties or something, where you're covered enough that you're eventually comfortable sharing these things, but uncomfortable enough that you see real skin, because you want to see where you're starting. Even if you never look at these pictures again, which I know you'll want to at some point, even if you never show these pictures to anybody, take the pictures. Take them from the front, take them from the back, and take them from the side. So let me show you really fast. This is usually what I do. I stand in my bathroom and I wear a sports bra and I have a pair of shorts, and I wear the same bra and shorts every single time. It's only changed a couple of times in like the last year and a half or so. So stand with your arms either on your hips or out or on your head, because you want to see your whole body. And do the same thing on the back. Arms out, arms up, arms on your hips, whatever you prefer, and then to the side. So I usually put my hands on my head on the side. Some people put their arms out, you put it to the side, but you want, profile, front, and back, so you can really see how you change over time. And I promise you're going to change over time, so you want to take these pictures. I laugh all the time because I promise you, you will wish you had taken these pictures if you don't do it today. You will wish you had. And I laugh about it because I always told my husband this. When we started this health and fitness journey, like almost 7 years ago now, he was the one who was always like, we need to take pictures, we need to take stats. If you don't have numbers, you don't have something to look back at, you'll always wish you had, and there's no way to measure your progress, right? Well, then we had babies and fell off and got, gained a bunch of weight we didn't want. And then we restarted again when I started coaching about a year and a half ago. And he didn't take any before pictures, but I did. I was doing it every single month. Every first Sunday of the month, before I got dressed in the morning, I would just go weigh myself, I'd do my measurements, I'd take my pictures. And so I have all these progress photos all through the whole first year of my journey, and he didn't take any at all. But his changes are bigger than mine, and now he doesn't have that comparison to measure things off of, and he's always like, do you think I'm still, he's trying to build muscle, he's like, do you think I'm still getting bigger? Do you think, this area down here I'm actually cutting yet or anything? And I always laugh and I'm like, well, if you had taken those before pictures, you could always compare. So take the pictures, even if no one ever sees them, even if you never share them, even if you never look back on them, you want those pictures to exist, because I promise you'll want to look back at them. Even at the end of this month, I recommend you'll want to look back on them. Also take your before weight. So step on the scale today, write it down. Or actually, you can actually track all of this stuff in the app, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So take your weight, but then take your scale, pick it up off the floor, and put it away. Go put it in the top of your pantry or underneath the bed, or give it to your neighbor. Just put it away for a whole month. Don't do this again until the first day of February or the first week of February. Like I said, I usually do it the first Sunday of the month, so it's easy to remember. But just put it away. Ignore the scale. Go on a scale fast, because the scale is not an accurate measurement of your progress. It's just one piece, one way to measure. And we want to have as many ways as possible so you can see progress when the numbers don't change. And I promise sometimes the numbers won't change. Sometimes you'll actually gain weight but lose girth measurements. Or sometimes you won't notice that you're getting smaller someplace, like you'll lose weight in your arms, you'll lose size in your arms, but not in your legs, or in your legs, but not in your chest, or whatever. And so, sometimes it's you going by the way your clothes fit that makes all the difference. So you want all these different ways to measure your progress. One of them is your weight, but you don't want to focus on that. So put the scale away after you measure yourself, and then take out the measuring tape and do measurements on, write this down, let's see, on your chest, both arms, your waist, your hips, and both legs. So let me demonstrate really fast in case you don't know how to do the measurements. Let me demonstrate where you're gonna do this. So for your chest, just like if you're getting a bra fitting, you measure your chest up here, not across your nipples. Well, it doesn't matter really. Whichever way you want to measure, just make sure it's consistent. That's the biggest thing. But the official way is to go on the top of your chest, so like under your armpits, and measure up here, like between your clavicle and your sternum. So right there, and measure that, because you're gonna lose some weight in your actual cup size if you're really gonna lose weight. And then for your arms, you go across the bicep on both sides, right across that widest part of your bicep on both arms, and you'll measure them separately, because sometimes you'll lose some size in one and not the other, or vice versa. My two biceps are always half an inch off from each other, and it's so weird. But it just stays consistently like that. Then your waist. Okay, you're measuring natural waist here, not like pants waist. So go right across your belly button, straight across the small of your back and your belly button. You want it to be a complete horizontal line across your belly button. And then the next one is, your hips. Okay, that's actually your butt. So you'll measure my couch is overweight. You'll measure this widest part right here in front of your hips and around the widest part of your butt. That's the hip measurement. And then of course your thighs on both sides. I like to do it where I'll put the tape measure around my leg like this, but you don't measure like that, because that takes your muscle changes shape that way. So then I'll hold it and put my leg down, and I measure right here at this thickest part of the inner thigh and go around the thickest part of the outer thigh, but not like, down here, just straight across on both sides, and mark those down. Now, like I said, you can track all this stuff right here in this app, which is my favorite way to do it, because then whenever you add to it, so like in February when you add measurements and stuff, it'll automatically tell you what you've gained or lost. And some of you guys do have goals to gain weight or gain muscle, so you want to see that. Same thing with your weight. And then you can also track your progress photos, and it'll make like a little collage of it. So you can see as time goes on how your body is changing. And that is the goal, because that'll be more motivating than anything else. So to do that, just look at the very bottom of this screen, and there's a picture of like a silhouette with lines coming out of the shoulder, a little graph coming out of the shoulder. So tap on that, and there are all these options to add photos, to add weight, to add measurements, or just to see your progress. And then if there are actually 2 tabs there. So one is for all the measurements and stuff, and the other one is like a calendar. So if you click on that second tab, it'll show you all the workouts you've logged in succession and all the Shakeologies you've drank in succession. And that's pretty motivating too. So later on in this group, I'm gonna talk about, like in month 2, we're gonna talk about all these different ways to stay motivated and keep working when things are tough. Well, one of the things that Darren Hardy always pushes is making a chain and not breaking it. So if you are able to cross off, 3 or 4 days in a row of exercise, well, then the goal is, you like play a game with yourself, the goal is don't break the chain. How long can you go before you break the chain? So one of the things I like to do is go to that second tab where you can see the calendar. I think they call it a timeline, where you can see the timeline. And I just like to see how long can I go in succession without quitting. This past time before Christmas, I went 2 months without taking any breaks, without missing a single workout. And that was so motivating, because every day I get up and think, oh, I just would rather do laundry or make sure that something else is done because there's so much to do. But then I didn't want to break the chain, and it would really keep me going. So log your workouts, log your Shakeology, make sure that today you take a progress photo or 2 and put it in the app. Take your weight and measurements and put it in the app, because you will regret it if you don't. I promise, you'll wish you had if you don't. Okay, very third action step for today is just to enjoy your first day of the new year. Squeeze your family and have a lot of fun. And I'll see you here again tomorrow morning.